I do it mostly every night. Every night I come home, I look up and I see the stars. You see the same formations in the same place. Now, how could that be if, according to them, the whole universe is speeding away from itself and we're spinning around, right? And we're moving around the sun, and the sun's spinning around in the damn galaxy and all this madness, right? And everything should be random because it's a random explosion. Then how the fuck do the stars appear in the same place every night? That's because the stars are moving around the earth, man, in an orbit. And that's just simple, man. Okay? Right? So let's go down. It says all scientists who believe in a mythical moving earth are religious, right? And that's why I try and tell these people, man. See, you got all these demons, these atheists talking about how, oh, we're religious. That no, we're not religious. You're religious, man. Because you believe on something. You're believing in things which are definitely not observed, man. You got a belief which you can't prove. We can prove our belief. It says they promote an alternative creation scenario from a holy book known as the Kabbalah, to wit the universe began out of nothing 13.7 billion years ago and has expanded in an evolving process that resembles one that the Jewish mystics envisioned centuries ago. In Let There Be Light, astrophysicist Howard Smith clearly explains the modern scientific understanding of the cosmos and explains how it complements Judaism's ancient mystical theology, the Kabbalah. He argues that an underlying harmony exists between the science and the Kabbalah religion. Yeah, that's right, because there's these so-called Jews which are behind all of this fallacy, man. Because the Kabbalah, the Talmud and such things, that's how they get down. Let's see what Kennedy said. It says, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, notice he said scientific, and political operations. Like I said, that's when you go into one of those institutions is the Royal Society, man. And all of these universities, first of all these so-called universities are funded, their research is all funded by the Illuminati, man. And when someone pays you to come up with an answer, you don't come up with the answer they want, man, whether it's right or wrong, because they're paying you, man. They're paying the bills, right? And you got the Royal Society. They're how the Illuminati, through peer review, control what information gets out and what's seen as acceptable science and what ain't. That's how they try and keep the truth concealed, right? You know, it's just madness. If the earth is moving that fucking fast, then how the hell did they travel? You know, it's just madness anyway. But yeah, let's continue. Now here we have something they witnessed. This is called star trails. It's a star trails time-lapse photo, 5 hours and 6 minutes. And it shows you the rotating nature of the stars, man. No, what else? Right, it says here the basic scientific arguments for geocentricity is there are 4 experiments which clearly point to a geocentric universe: the Michelson-Morley experiment, the Michelson-Gale experiment, Airy's failure, and the Sagnac experiment. Right? Now these experiments, they don't teach you about them in school, like I said, because it's a conspiracy, right, to try and destroy the Bible, man. They don't want you to know about these experiments which prove that the earth is not moving and it's at the center of the universe, man. Right? So let's go into that. Starting with the Michelson-Morley experiment, and this was, the most scientists know about the Michelson-Morley experiment. It was carried out to check that the velocity of the Earth around the Sun was about 30 kilometers per second as it moved through the ether. When it found hardly any movement at all, the results stunned the scientific community. Little of this reached the ears of the public, and this result had to be explained away. Notice it said little of this reached the ears of the public, because who controls the publicity of such findings? The Royal Society, man. They decide what goes down when it comes to science, man. Let me read a bit about them. It says the Royal Society is a fellowship, see there? Notice the key words, of the world's most eminent, says who? Eminent scientists, and is the oldest scientific academy in continuous existence. We aim to expand the frontiers of knowledge by championing the development and use of science, which is bullshit. They aim to dumb people down, man. Mathematics, engineering, medicine for the benefit of humanity and the good of the planet, which is all bullshit. They're there to do the opposite, man. Which is why the opposite is happening, man. That's why knowledge about true medicine is going down. True engineering is going down. Real mathematics is going down, and that fake physics, pseudo-science bullshit's coming up because of them. Right? It says this is the history of them. The origins of the Royal Society lie in an invisible college. Right? Oh, so it started off as a straight up secret society, which it still is, of natural philosophers, right? Right, who began meeting in mid 1640s, man, just after the Renaissance period, man. Yeah, these crackers, man, right, to discuss the new philosophy of promoting knowledge of the natural world. New philosophy. What was their new philosophy? These lies that they were ready to tell in the name of Satan, man. That's the new philosophy that they wanted to promote as knowledge of the natural world through observation, which that's a damn lie, because they don't observe none of that. An experiment, which that's a damn lie again, because if that was the case, they would take experiments which go against their grain into account, which we now call science. Here it is. The Royal Society's motto, nullius in verba, roughly translates as take nobody's word for it. Yeah, when they talk about nobody, they're talking about the Most High. They don't want to take the Most High's word. See, I know how these devils operate, and I know how they think, man. But anyway, let's go back where we was. It says there is a simple model that can be pictured to explain the reason for the experiment. Imagine that you're on a lake in a small boat with a very quiet engine, the Earth, and not far away is a huge liner, the Sun. You are at the center of the lake, and the shore is a long way off, but you can see mountains on it. You notice that the shore, the stars, is going past the large ship fairly quickly, and you realize that either you are circling the large ship is circling you, or the large ship is circling you, and you cannot immediately tell which one is circling which. You know the distance between the two ships and time and how long it takes for the shore to make a complete circle, which is 1 year. You can say that either the large ship is going around you at 30 miles per hour, or you are going around it at that speed. There is a very simple test that will tell you which one is circling which. What can you do to find out? The answer is very simple. You put your hand in the water. If you are moving through the water, then it is you going around a large ship, and you can check your speed through the water to see if it is 30 miles per hour. If it is, then the large ship must be stationary. However, if you find that you are stationary in the water, then it must be the large ship that is going around you. The experiment showed that the Earth was almost stationary, so they had to invent the Fitzgerald-Lorentz contraction, and eventually Einstein swept the whole problem under the carpet by mathematically removing the ether. That this brought huge problems into scientific theories was ignored, and false evidence was produced. Eclipse, traveling clocks, perihelion precession of Mercury to support the theory. There have been many attacks upon the theory, but so powerful are the forces, Royal Society and other groups, right, the Illuminati, that support it, that they have had little publicity or real damaging effect upon the scientific acceptance of the theory even today. It is the following 3 experiments that are taught to science undergraduates. The Michelson-Gale experiment, reference Astrophysical Journal 1925, V61 pp 145. I forgot to put this reference in my book. This detected the ether passing the surface of the Earth with an accuracy of 2% of the speed of the daily rotation of the Earth. Thus the Michelson-Morley experiment detected no movement of the Earth around the Sun, yet the Michelson-Gale experiment measured the Earth's rotation to within 2%. This surely speaks volumes for geocentricity. C. Aries failure. Telescopes have to be very slightly tilted to get the starlight going down the axis of the tube because of the Earth's speed around the Sun. Airy filled the telescope with water that greatly slowed down the speed of light inside the telescope, and found that he did not have to change the angle of the telescope. This showed that the starlight was already coming in at the original measured angle, so that no change was needed. This demonstrated that it was the stars moving relative to a stationary Earth, and not the fast orbiting Earth moving relative to a comparatively stationary stars. If it was the telescope moving, he would have had to change the angle. Imagine a telescope like a tube sloped so that the light from one star hits the bottom of the tube. Even if the starlight is slowed down inside the tube using water, it will still hit the bottom of the tube because its direction is already determined. If it were the tube that was moving, slowing down the starlight would mean that the angle of the tube would have to change for the light to hit the bottom of the tube. It is interesting that the original short 2-page report merely lists the results and discusses the accuracy of the telescope used. There is not the slightest reference to the astonishing result that this experiment demonstrates, that the stars are moving around the stationary Earth. Right, so that's another cut. The Sagnac experiment. Sagnac rotated a table at 2 revs per second, complete with light and mirrors and cameras, with the light being passed in opposite directions around the table between the mirrors. The rotation of the whole apparatus was detected by the movement of the interference fringes on the target where they were recombined. This proved that there is an ether that the light has to pass through, and this completely destroys Einstein's theory of relativity that says there is no ether. It is for this reason that this experiment is completely ignored by scientists. More recently, Cantor has found the same result with similar apparatus. Right? So there is an ether, man. So to summarize, the Sagnac experiment proved that there was an ether which could be used as a reference frame for movements. This demolished Einstein's theory of relativity. Using the ether as a frame of reference, the Michelson-Morley experiment showed that we were not going around